Bright Duty. Every student matters.
Lysosomes, they are tiny membrane-bound sacs. They are filled with digestive enzymes and they can break down the organic matter. So since they contain digestive enzymes, whatever is not desirable by the cell, the lysosomes will engulf it, and using those digestive enzymes, they will completely break them down or decompose them into smaller soluble substances. So functions. They are the waste disposal system of the cell. Why? Because they keep the cell clean by digesting and removing the worn out cell organelles. So if there is any part of the cell, any organelle which is worn out, what will do? Lysosomes will engulf it and break them down into simpler tiny substances. So they are known as scavengers of the cell because they are just keeping the cell clean by removing whatever is not required. They are also called the digestive bags of the cell because they actually destroy whatever foreign material enters the cell which is not required by the cell, like bacteria and virus. So in a way they protect the cell from these harmful microbes. They are also called suicide bags of the cell. Whenever there is some disturbance in the cellular metabolism or the cell is about to die, what will happen? The cell material, its own material will keep on collecting as debris. So what happens during such a thing, when there is some cellular disturbance, the lysosome, they burst open and all the digestive enzymes, they spread in the cell and they digest their own cell. They decompose their own cell. So that is why they are called suicide bags of the cell. So there are many names given to the cell. They are called waste disposal system or scavengers of the cell or digestive bags or the suicide bags. These all names are given to the lysosomes. Next is mitochondria. Another very important cell organelle is mitochondria. They are tiny bodies of varying shape. Usually they are rod shaped. They are bounded by double membrane envelope. The outer membrane is porous while the inner membrane has folds. So this is a typical diagram of a mitochondria. This is the outermost membrane which is porous. The inner membrane has folds in it. It is folded. Okay, so this folds actually creates the larger surface area. Okay, then it has its own DNA. It has its own ribosomes. Okay, this is a typical mitochondria diagram. So outer membrane is porous, inner membrane has folds. So due to these folds, there is a large surface area for production of ATP. Each mitochondria has its own DNA and its own ribosomes. Okay, DNA and ribosomes. So they can make their own protein. They are absent in RBCs of humans and in bacteria. They are semi-autonomous organelles. They are called semi-autonomous because they have their own DNA and ribosomes. They can make their own protein. They do not need help from outside. That is why they are called semi-autonomous organelles. Now this is the diagram figure of a mitochondria. As you can see, it is double layered. The outer layer has pores while the inner layer has folds. Okay, and they are granules. These are ribosomes. They have their own DNA. The functions of mitochondria. Functions. First, they are the site of cellular respiration. It's a very important function. As you know, during respiration, what happens? Glucose gets oxidized to release energy, and carbon dioxide and water. Okay, this is formed. Main thing is release of energy. So this cellular respiration process takes place inside the mitochondria. The energy is released inside the mitochondria. So energy is released in the form of ATP molecules. Okay, so by this process the ATP molecules are generated, and that is why these ATP molecules have the energy stored inside them. So energy is required for all the activities, for growth, for some physical activity, for the functioning. So that is why the mitochondria are called the powerhouse of the cell, because in this organelle the ATP molecules are generated. ATP, the full form is adenosine triphosphate. It is known as energy currency of the cell. The body uses energy which is stored in the ATP for making new chemical compounds and other mechanical work. So ATPs are generated in the mitochondria and they are stored. Whenever the cell needs energy, these ATP molecules are broken down to release the energy. So all this process occurs in mitochondria, and that is why they are powerhouse of the cell.